Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jay, another episode of the Park Car Conversation. This is episode number 10. We've switched it up a little bit. I am still in the park car, but I'm just enjoying the quarantine summer outside. If you've ever been in a park car, you know these conversations. Sometimes they're very uncomfortable. They make you a little nervous to have them, but these are the conversations that you remember and they're important. So today's topic is going to be something that is super thought-provoking, and today's topic is going to be parent alienation. Parent alienation describes a process in which a child becomes estranged from a parent by the psychological manipulation of the other parent. So in other words, one parent basically manipulates a child to no longer be able to see their parent. Either they actually manipulate their child to believe the parent is no good, or they actually stop the parent from being able to see their child. And this is an extremely taboo topic, meaning that it's not spoken about, it's swept under the rug. And at the end of the day, this is just as much a pandemic as anything else that we're experiencing in this climate, in this time. All over the world, this is happening, and it is crushing our communities. It is crushing our households. And most importantly, it's crushing our youth. It's crushing the children that are involved. And I have firsthand seen the effects of children who have had this happen to them in the school board and also outside of the school board. There's no discrimination for children that this happens to, and this is a problem that we actually have to tackle. So we're gonna talk about it. If you don't get along with him anymore, that's your problem. If he doesn't get along with you anymore, that's his problem. But let's just keep it a buck here. I'm a parent myself, and there's one thing that will never change is the fact that you and him brought a child into this world, and that child is now bigger than you. It's not about you and your feelings and him and his feelings anymore. You are now responsible with the challenge of managing that child and their emotions. So I have heard everything. I have heard all the excuses as to why a father cannot be fit and not be permitted to be able to see their child. And all these reasons are used to, categorize a father as now a second-class parent. So now that you have leverage over the father because of X, Y, Z reasons. And I just want to burst your bubble on something. There's actually no reason why a father should ever be stopped from seeing their child unless that father actually creates and, poses the threat of abuse on that child. Anything else doesn't cut it. And before you start to roll your eyes at me, like this girl doesn't know what she's talking about, what I go through with my, child's father is XYZ, whatever the case it may be, I just want to let you know one thing. Mother to mother, I firsthand know what it feels like to co-parent. And co-parenting has posed many challenges in my life as much as it has posed challenges in my son's father's life. It's not easy. And even though we've been through the brunt and it felt like we went through some very dark days, at the end of the day, I would never and have never stopped my child's father from seeing him ever. I would never do it. Despite our differences, I would never do that. I think that's the most evil thing that a woman can do. And so some of the excuses, let's just talk about it. He's a bum. He can't financially support his child. I don't like his family. I don't like his environment. I don't like his new girlfriends. None of those issues that are, formulated by you, they might be real issues. And I'm not dismissing men from having to uphold the responsibility of being a father. You definitely have to uphold that. So, every circumstance is different. But what that means is that me and you can know that on a parental level, but you can't make your child, and you shouldn't be manipulating your child and having your child feel the repercussions of that. Those are big people problems that children don't need to know. And so speaking of the actual term parent alienation, remember in the term, it speaks on a parent being manipulative, right? For the things that children know, if children know big people problems, that's because a person and a grown folk was able to allow them to understand that. And especially at the ages, they're children, they're teenagers, they can't process the things that we can. They maybe have not been through as much experiences where we know things happen between two people, et cetera, et cetera. Children take things personal and they might not know how to deal with that. And then that becomes a very, very big problem. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle for this gem. He said that children do not spell love L-O-V-E. They spell that T-I-M-E, time. So for all the instances that you can imagine, women say, oh, he doesn't financially support his kid, he shouldn't be able to see his kid. that money that you're, working on, and I get it, you need the help, but that money is not going to replace their father being present for, their sports game, or being present at their concerts, or being able to, spend time with them in their home and within their space on the weekends. Money can't buy that time. That's what children need. They need time. If they don't have money, if they don't have all these other things that are provided to them, they need relationship. They need time. And that's something that you're taking away. And that is so evil. Unfortunately, we live in a climate where mothers are favored over fathers, whether that be in the court or just overall speaking. So I think a lot of mothers are so selfish that they don't even realize how deep rooted their actions are, mentally taking a toll on their children. And at the end of the day, they take advantage of the whole fact that mothers are granted that favor. And so it becomes very nasty. And I've had this conversation over and over and over again, especially with a lot of the young youth, the young guys that I've, come in contact with over the years. And this is a reoccurring thing. Like, they always say, it's like, in society, it's always men ain't shit, men are this, men are that. But at the end of the day, we all have to take full responsibility, because women are just as bad. So it's not always, people always so quick, oh, it must be the dad, it must be the bad. There are some really terrible mothers out there that are actually so selfish and can't put their own personal feelings aside for the sake of their children. Sorry, guys, we had to switch it up. The sun was attacking us, so this is what we get for enjoying our quarantine summer outside during the park car conversation. But picking up where I left off, there's some things that we can do as parents. And for the mother who uses her child as a crutch and as collateral, you need to hear this. Number one, you do not speak negatively about the other parent, either to the child or in front of the child. Let's go back to the actual term and the definition of parent alienation, and that involves manipulation. You don't have to actually manipulate your child to believe the other parent is XYZ way. I've spoken to tons of mothers who've said, listen, my child is 7 now, my child's 8 now, and they know exactly what's going on. They are so smart. They catch on to everything. But what does this speak on you as a person, as a mother, feeding your child with negative facts and information about somebody, their other parent? Because at the end of the day, they still love their parent. At the end of the day, that's something you cannot fight. Like, no matter how much you don't agree with them or how much you do not like them, that is still their parent, period. And so just think about and the concept. If children know grown folk problems, then children have to now become grown folk. And they're not able to do that. Let children be children. Let children and give them the most fair opportunity to have a relationship just as much as they do with you, with your other parent, as long as they're asking to do it. Stop parent alienating, period. What does it do? It only ever helps you, but it really affects the children, and it will always. And you could argue that your child's going to be fine and they're going to find out their father is this way and that way, and so I'm just helping them. That's not how it works. You give them the fair chance, and if a father wants to be present, you let him be present, and stop thinking about yourself. You're a mother now, period.